All right. I know, what a mess, huh? What a mess. So we're just going to fold in my tackle. Got lots of it. We got to sort through it. We got to put the rods up, get them all right, stored for the winter. And I don't know, put Humpty Dumpty back together again a bit. Been a busy year. So first, let's get the rods done. We'll put them up on the wall. Make sure the tackle's off of them. They're ready for next season. So we did pretty good this year. When you think about it, we lost everything this year in my kayak accident, and we were able to recoup with all your guys' help. So this is that lose. So let's stick that over here. A little speed stick spinning rod. Stick that up here. Yeah. I don't even know what that's a fly rod that I got for free. All right, so then let's see. Let me turn this beast of a chair around a bit so we can work on these a bit. Another spinning rod. Okay, we did. This is the one I gave away. So he should be getting that today. So we gotta put swivel in this. There we go. So we got swivels. Hey, Richard. So just get these ready for next season. And gotta put the boat away and everything. It's really cold outside. It's been snowing. So I can only go outside for a little while because the cold weather really does it for my lungs. Do it in stints. All right. Lost a couple lures the other day. I was fishing from the pier, the marina. Hope all's good for you, Richard. Yeah. I didn't think I got it through. That's why I use snap swivels, because I have a very hard time tying knots out on the boat. So we do it in here, and then we just use snap swivels. A lot of this stuff you can use snap swivels on because it doesn't affect the action of the bait. Now, there are some baits I can't use snap swivels on because it dramatically affects the bait and its action. All right, so I'll get that done. Stick that on the hook keeper. We can do it. Sometimes. There it goes. Good. Put this up with the spinning rods. Boy. Spinning rods are on top. The casters on the bottom. That will pretty much split evenly, half and half. Usually I play music, but I played music. YouTube would censor me, infringement of copyrights and stuff. All right. Pretty decent rod, that really old one right there. I have to break that out next year and check it out because it's actually pretty decent. I'm surprised. I think I've used it once. Got it at a garage sale. All right. So it's my BFS rod. My favorite rod. Let's take this. Left this power bait on it. Soak it. Soak it. Stick that on there. Good. Let me get more rod sleeves. All right. I got to work on that wall. Got to put a lot more stuff on the bait wall. So then I got to get my snow gear, my ice fishing stuff. I did break one of those. Stepped on it. Hey, randomize. Snap that rod in half. This is a really nice pissy fun. It's got that Spark Pro, really nice reel, and I love this Carbon X. Rod. It's a really nice rod. Sorry, I kept it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Leather spinning rod. This one I lost the lure on it the other day, Monday. Didn't catch nothing. It was snowing. It was miserable. Lake was tossing. Did not go out on the lake. I just went to the shore. Tossed it out a few times, just enough to lose my baits. Which happens. I mean, that's why we have so many baits. So, we hit 1,000. I sent off the gear to the winner, Mr. Tully. And I think he gets it today. So I'm very excited for him. It's a rod, reel. I lined it and gave him a selection of lures that I'm sure will work in his neck of the woods. Although it's probably snowing there too, and he won't be able to use the gear until spring. So kind of a bummer. Unless he's got someplace nearby he can go out there and get excited about it. But I do. But we're there we go. Sleeve on. Love my Cajun rods. Always. There's a really nice reel on this one. It's Carbon X reel, also by Pissy Fun. Very nice reel. I got to work on that wall today too, because I got my tackle here, and it's got to be thinned out and put on the wall. All right, let's put my spinning rod up here. Like I said, it's surprising. I've lost everything this year, and I was able to recoup it thanks to my business of making lures without costing me much. So, in fact, it didn't cost me anything at all, because what's going on? It's going to have to be restrung. Well, I mean, it's snowing pretty good here. I would hope if you go to lakeofthewoodsresort.com, you can see the lake, and see a lot of snow on the ground. So we just need the ambient temperature to get cold enough to freeze my lake, which it is, but it takes a long time to do, and especially to get on safe ice. You don't want to walk out there on 1-inch ice. You need 4 inches at least of thickness of ice for you to be safe out there. It's 4 inches is safe enough to walk. So, Pissy Fun has a sale right now. You should check them out. I ordered a bibs, winter bibs, and you guys will be happy to know that they can keep me afloat if I fall through the ice. So it's got flotation technology. So it's I'll be working up there this year, punching holes for people. Something I didn't do last year. I was just up there myself. And so having flotation bibs is, it's pretty smart. Since I do fall in the water a lot. And it'll keep me at least afloat until I could pull myself up, which, that's another story. So, but you always travel with ice picks in your hand or on your body. So you can, if you fall through a hole, you can climb yourself up out of the hole onto the ice. So that will, if we do that, then another story. Because, if I don't have enough stories already, I'll have more stories, right? Oh my goodness, look at all these rods. What do we got? Ah, 10 rods. Boy, did I recoup pretty good this year, huh? They all have a purpose too. This is a heavy one, so you gotta have heavy rods, for your heavy stuff and, to go into heavy areas like lily pads. Very important. It's a great lure though. It's a really, really, really nice lure. It's a nice Shimano. One of my favorite rods, that Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier 2. Really nice rod. Super light. You can cast this thing all day long and not get fatigued. Now, look at this. I mean, this is kind of neat. I haven't clear coated this yet, but that's a jig for the ice, but it has glow in the dark eyes. So let me see if I can charge it real quick. Yeah. So you guys can't see it. Anyway, they glow in the dark. It's really cool. And then I've got these jigs. These will completely glow in the dark. So really cool. Once I put the glow in the dark pigment on it. Hey, Oregon Magnet, man. Well, putting everything away for this winter. I mean, because ice fishing's coming up and we got to get all that stuff ready. And then we got to, well, you know what I mean. So ice fishing is coming up. Now these, this is my son's rod here. This because I don't have an ugly stick. This is his. And then these are like loner ones. Okay. So do you have the rental prices for ice fishing up there? Really cheap. I mean, I think we're doing like shacks for $20. The sled for 10, auger for 10. Unless you want us to punch holes ourselves for you, which are $5 a hole. It's not changing from last year. I don't think so. Now, what we did do this year, or for next year, we're adding 2 fishing boats next season. So it's going to be awesome. I love our new fishing boats. Basically, they're the pontoon boats. All right, let's get these up here. I got a lot of rods. So I remember this one. Now I got a lot of rods. Like I said, it helps when you have a bait business. You can replenish. So, yeah. Those are day prices, I think. I mean, it's just super cheap. Really cheap stuff. When the ice gets thick enough, we're going to put a sort of one in front of the camera, on the camera, the webcam, and out there, rent me. Because last year, nobody rented them. I think I rented 2 last year. That's it. I mean, for those prices, I mean, come on. Nice and warm inside a shack, you know? And it's kind of fun, you know? You got your own little office. So, all right. So, those are the rods. Oh, my God. By the way, this is my, that is my tackle bag. Goes on my boat. I know. It's big. It's really big. But, you know, it's your bass boat basically in a bag is what it is. It's got everything. All right. So, we gotta clean it out now. We got some really nice everything in it, actually. Really nice everything. Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Buddy of mine's coming from Palm Springs next in January, and I'm going to take him ice fishing. He's never done it either. I mean, he's from California. California's still ice fishing. And to be honest, not a lot of Oregonians do too. But hey, if you want to help too, I'm just starting putting things together for the ice fishing clinic in February. And it'll be the weekend after Valentine's Day. I'm going to need volunteers. So if you feel like volunteering, I can use a lot of help that weekend at the lake. A lot of help. And I'm going to arrange something to where we feed you or something like that, you know. And, you know, you'll have fun. I mean, it's always fun to turn other people on to fishing. That's what I enjoy. So, yeah, never too big or too much. You're right about that. Now, these are actually really good. This was from BFO Baits. And these little crappie packs were only $10. These are all handmade. And you know what? This one's kind of weird. I bought this. I didn't really think it through because I don't even know how to use it. But this is the wacky worm. These are actually tiny, tiny little wacky worms. I don't know. But I really do like the Hellgrammites and the fantail grubs. Caught a lot of fish on those. They're really, really good. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to give away some tackle. Because, you know, I got a lot of tackle. We're gonna have to give away some tackle, huh? Maybe that's what we'll do. Give away some tackle. You know, this stuff won't last until next year. Power bait. That won't last. There's got to be a way to preserve it, though. I have to check it out online. See how to bring it back to life and preserve it. And Trout Tickler did really good. This guy's up in Portland. Really good. Go to troutticklertackle.company.com, I think, or something like that. Anyway, and he hand makes these. Very nice. They did real good too. They did real good this year. So, all right. Boy, my goodness. Yeah. See, that's all dried out and terrible. Problem about power bait, it just doesn't. Once you open it, you know, use it up because you're not going. All right. That's one of my. I love these pliers. I forgot. These are from Casking Company. I do not purchase from anymore, but nice pliers. You get them really cheap, you know. go for it. I'm sure you can because they're a pretty affordable brand, but I don't buy from them anymore. You guys know why. And Pissy Fun actually has got better stuff. Costs about the same, but like my bibs have flotation in them. Well, the new bibs from Casking, it doesn't. So, I'll die in those. And always check out Mule Fishing. Mule Fishing is also handmade stuff. Very finesse, very small plastics. Really good, though. And super stretchy. I mean, these things are hard to get on your jig. They are. But once on, you'll catch fish after fish after fish without replacing it. So it's worth the effort to get it on your jig. And then the best grub there is the Chigger Craw by Power Paint. Bam. The best grub there is. I mean, they're fantastic. And Third Eye, they make, this is really a very good worm. It looks fantastic. It works great. It's coated with anise scent. That is a great, great worm. It really is. It smells pretty. It's star anise, so really nice. That is I got really nice stuff in here. I got really nice stuff. These Blue Rock tubes are really good, heavily salted, fantastic. I mean, one thing about salted tubes is that you'll catch something right away. And for about 10 minutes, and then they stop working. The salt the salt just wears off or something. I don't know what happens, but something happens. Then you got to swap them out. You've caught a few good fish. Life is good, right? Always have your Medico kit. You guys see me bleed a lot. And something to put your phone in. You're going to have something to put your phone in because you guys know I've gone through 3 phones, so now I don't. Although this bag is not that great because it does leak. So I'm going to have to get me another one, but some other kind of case that I can operate the phone through. I'm sure it'll be fine for the snow, but come next season, it won't be very good. So, this is sort of my case for my catch-all case. I just throw crap in here. So there's all sorts of stuff in this thing. And love trout ticklers. Little balls that replace the dough work really, really good. Heavily scented, work very well. So if there's one thing I would get from him all the time, it would be that. I mean, I would go. I mean, they last. Hook is stuck in the fabric. Pliers. One of my giveaways I want to do is a nice Leatherman. You know why Leatherman is called Leatherman? I did not know this because the guy who started it, that's his last name, Leatherman. Tim Leatherman. So this is a really nice bait. It's my swimming trout bait. I mean, I'm pretty happy with all my baits actually. So more trout tickler stuff. See, and all these trout tickler stuff, really nice. Now I did order. What do I order? I'm trying a new company. And let me see. Rumble Fish Lures. I'm trying Rumble Fish Lures. It's rumblefishing.com. Now I'm giving them a shot. They look like they make some pretty good. I don't do soft plastics, you guys know that. So, but they look like they make some nice little lures. So I ordered quite a few jigs heads as well as some jig bodies. Again, I went as small as they go. I went as small as they go because it's ice fishing season. So I went with 2-inch lures, and we're going to use that through the ice, see what happens. Because, that'll work really good through the ice. It's going to work really good through the ice. It'll be interesting. The ices. And then they got these little tiny hooks that he uses. These are tiny. It's probably like 14s or something like that. This worked really well too. This little brown spotted one. So that worked really good this year. So a lot of nice things about this year is that I learned so much. Hey, Brendan. It has been a while since we talked, huh? And then this is just a big giant swim bait that I made. Mood thing. Colors that I thought would work. I haven't even tried it yet. We'll get to it next year. But there were a lot of good successes this year. A lot of good successes this year with my baits, as you guys know. And one of them is this little guy. No, that's not him. Although it's the best pattern I made, that red, yellow, speckled one. How's life treating me? Oh, my goodness. Life is okay, I guess. It's okay, I guess. Boy, look at all these. Oh, my goodness. Look at all these. There's more plastics. I should get better with plastics. You know what? Next year, we're going to focus on getting better with plastic. With soft plastic, because I'm not very good at it. And it is a huge, huge, huge opportunity for me to catch more fish. Huge. And I'm missing it. This right here, CPF lures, fantastic lures too. Tough as nails, really, really good, and great value. I mean, there's 25 in this package. I think I paid $10, something like that. Anyway, he makes them in Florida. Really nice lures. Hey, Brandon, look at this. I need to buy bigger hooks for yours, though, my friend. Look, a Brandon lure. Fluke. Brandon lure. Another Brandon lures. More. I got more. This is like the Brandon bag. It's the Brandon bag right there. I have a couple more of yours up there, but you require some big old giant hooks, and I do not have those big hooks. I just don't have big hooks. You want 6s. And I did try, this Charlie Brewers. Now, Charlie Brewer's is interesting, but his plastics are a little tough, stiff, and they break. But I got some underspin here, and that's what I got from that one company that I just ordered from with some underspins. I really like underspin jigs, small ones, and yeah, I did. I got the 1/16 ounce underspin jigs, and so with those little 2-inch swim tails on it, I think those work really, really good. I did not get extra wide gaps because of the time of year that I'm in, but I love underspins. All right, so believe it or not, this bag right here. This was one of the things retrieved from the bottom of the lake. The divers got. Oh my lures! The divers retrieved it. So Brandon, the divers saved many of your baits. Very cool. And pour with the juice. It really is interesting, and that all of us, we make our own baits and stuff. Hey, Tasha, we make our own baits, and every time we make it, we're like, gosh, that's really good. Ooh, best candy in the whole wide world, right there. If you guys have never tried toffee, you must try toffee. It's the only candy that I pretty much eat. It's the only candy I eat. My wife got me this as a present the day before yesterday. I've eaten almost all of them. I think I've got 4 left. 1 serving size left. They're little itty bitty cups, is what they are. Yeah, little itty bitty cups, and they're delicious. I mean, if you've never had a toffee, you're in for a treat. I mean, in England, you guys got the best chocolates. You do. You just do. I mean, but in America, we have one good candy. The toffee is our candy of choice in the United States. If you've never had one, try it. So, square bills always do very, very well. And this one right here is sort of a bleeding greenie. Did really, really well this year. And my finesse lures always did very well. So here's one of trout ticklers set up on a jig. Tiny little thing. Again, tiny little thing. Tiny little jig. I know, because trouts have, they've got little mouths. Oh, there's a little crappie one. Crappie. Now, I actually put this one behind the boat and trailed it, trolled it, and then I pulled it in and I noticed it's got no hooks. I was wondering why it wasn't working. Yeah, put hooks on it. Or make a keychain out of it. It's a nice lure. Maybe I'll make a keychain out of it. I don't know. I can make a lot of keychains. I got keychain stuff and necklace stuff. So, yes, I have planted a bluegill. I have. It's in this. Let me see. Swim baits. Square bill, large swimmers. All right. There's a bluegill in here. I'm pretty sure. That's not a bluegill. Look at this. Okay, totally mood thing. But I just felt like it. And I did it. The San Francisco bait. Well, my bluegill's not in here. It's a pretty decent size one, though. Oh, no, it's a square bill. That's right. I made a square bill bluegill. Yeah, a friend of mine wanted a bluegill. Oh, here it is, sitting right on top. Wanted me to make one. And I made one, of course, for him. And then, of course, I made one for me. But that's my bluegill. Square bill. Fantastic. Sitting right on top. Yep. This is my bluegill. I knew I had one. This is a really, really nice one. I love this one. That is a great, great design. Really nice design. I know you are. You're doing really good. You're doing really good. So, yeah, gosh, I got so many baits, guys. But whenever I put one on the market, I got to keep one for myself, right? I'm always coming up with new designs. Always coming up with new stuff. That's the fun thing, I think, right, Brandon? It's just like you just come up with new stuff and you give it a shot. And then it's sort of like splattering paint on something. And then you find out it's your best lure. So here's my trout box. I have one trout box. I'm going to have to make 2 trout boxes is what I'm going to have to do. I got some more boxes down there. Yep. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's put some of these large ones. I'm going to put my kokanee salmon in here. My kokanee. And my swimming rainbow. This is a real pretty one. This is my pumpkin seed. Really, really nice. Square bills. Square bill. My bleeding greenie. And that's my round bill. I'll put my round bills in here too. Yeah, I do. And then these are finesse and witless. But each one of my boxes are labeled, so I can just look down into this big giant bag and pull things out. Know which box to go to. And for the most part, I do keep it fairly organized. For the most part. I mean, as organized as one can be, but it does help a lot when I'm out on the water. To just be able to grab something and know where something is. My mouse pad has got one of the hooks. Come on. There we go. Now, these combo ones, the ones I put tail spinners on and stuff, those work really, really well. Sort of an all-around lure. So, stick that in there. Grab my lipless box. Put this lipless in it. Now, these are the ones you can buy at the resort right now, too. It's really good. It's got a decent rattle on it and really nice. So these little paddle tail swim ones is kind of interesting. don't think I caught anything with them this year, but I didn't use them very much. But it's got a single hook on it, and just a really, really nice. I did make quite a few of them. Oh, I didn't sell any of these because I wanted to really have fun with them myself and see what I could do with them. This one is just a killer. So that one's a killer, and I think, yeah, this is the one I caught the German brown on. This one. It's the biggest one I painted in a lipless, but with the tail spinner. It's a bleeding shad. That's what I caught the German brown on. Thanks, Brandon. 25 wood ones ever made. Nice. It's nice to do limited editions. You know, typically, I mean, everything's a limited edition. This one I caught a lot of trout on, believe it or not. It's really beautiful, beautiful, you know, really loud, but the tail spinner on it, I don't know what it is about tail spinners on lipless, but the trout love it. They just do. And you catch big trout. I mean, like that German brown. So, very cool. Terminal tackle. There we go. Let me get my terminal tackle. I got to go over, you know, some of these boxes, you know, when I have more time, I think. Oh, trout box for those little Charlie Brewer ones. This bottom, those little guys. They said these guys are sort of a mixed bag. I don't think I recommend the Charlie Brewer stuff because they have no flex to them, and if I pulled on that, it would break. You know, it just would. So I'm not a big fan of their soft plastics, although, you know, they make a very nice little underspin. So I'm all for that. I like underspins a lot. Trout are kind of dumb, though. I mean, aren't they? They hit anything. Worm on a hook, boom, catch a trout. Power bait, boom, catch a trout. Now, this is interesting. Now, even though I lost a piece of this, this was recovered too on my upside down kayak. This is a wedding present. So it's over 35 years old, and my wife got it for me. But it's a Swiss Army knife called the Fisherman, and lost the insert, you know, the screwdrivers and stuff, but or actually the ratchets. It had a screwdriver set, but anyway, I didn't, you know, I got it back, which, you know, there are two things that I did lose my Leatherman that my son had just bought me, but I bought another one with the exact same engravings on it. So even though he knows it was lost, it's on the bottom of that lake somewhere. Nobody will ever find it again. And take care, Brandon. You enjoy your day too, buddy. Yeah, I'm just doing some cleanup here. Thought I'd go online, talk to y'all while I'm down here doing stuff. This is the biggest tackle bag I think you could possibly buy. It's bigger than Plano's, which Plano makes a fantastic one, but I really needed more tackle boxes. So their biggest wasn't big enough for me. but it really is. It's very durable. It's waterproof. It's got a pan on the bottom, so although my boat really doesn't require for it to have a pan, but tons of pocket. There's not a thing on. There's not an inch on this thing that isn't utilized for something. It's a very, very good bag so far, and I use my tackle a lot, but this is probably about 70 pounds. Probably about 70 pounds. So, and that is, look at that beast. Show you the front. Oi, 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 oi. There's a lot. And let me see. I did not tell you how many, 3,700s fits. I think it fits 14 or something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It holds, well, I've got 10, 11, 12. So, 12 3,700s. That's a lot. Oh, man. Thank you, Richard, for catching that. Thank you, Richard. Lots. We got nothing better to do. Thank you, Richard, very much for catching that. That's why we have moderators, right? While I'm doing this, somebody tries to sneak in there, and a bot tries to do stuff like that. So, all right. And then it's got all these, I don't know, all these loops on it, which, I do use the loops for carabiner some stuff on it, and then these right here are little bungees, and I'm able to strap it down onto my boat so it doesn't fall out of my boat. And it's got pliers right here, it's got everything. It's really nice. So you don't lose stuff. It's amazing all the stuff I'm always finding in here. Nice to have a knife. It's got to be sharpened. It's really dull. It's a dull knife. I'm gonna have to sharpen that. That's something else too. It's like keeping track of, making sure everything's in here. All right. Oh my gosh, this is really good. We'll stick that under the sink. We'll make a ice fishing box, for my ice fishing stuff. Got new gloves. We got new bibs coming. Got a drone. You guys see the video of the drone? That's kind of cool. Not a very good picture that it takes, but I got it for free. Gotta love free, right? Free is good. Punch some holes in some of these. Stick them up on the wall. Maybe I'll make a keychain out of this. It's a nice little size for a keychain. Could do that. All right. This new tablet of mine is pretty cool. And hey, Craig. Let's bring the camera over here. So you're not seeing the side of my head. Look at all this. I'm always using paper towels. Let's see. What are you guys over here? All right. There we go. And what was I doing? I was doing something. Oh, the tablet. It's a nice tablet. Big. It's amazing what 12 inches, but it's but anyway, it's a nice little tablet, and so it's let me see, it's pretty. Maybe if it's okay. So anyway, pictures I took over at the resort the other day. We have a library there. Didn't know that. Lots of books. I'm going to put my books in there. And so anyway, it's a very nice tablet. It's got a pen. I love this case. This is the same case I had for my iPad, and the iPad looked brand new, being about 8 years old. So very nice. So I like, and something else. I love this. I was at the resort the other day working on the book. And see this little thing right here? It is a keyboard with a mouse. It's really good. Yeah. But this worked really, really well. And then I have earbuds because that tablet does not have an earphone jack. So I had to buy these Bluetooth earbuds, and they worked really well. They were like $15. I know. It's like really, really cheap. So I bought cheap ones. I don't know if they're, when you buy. And when I was in electronics, good headphones were expensive, like Sennheisers and stuff, and they were really good. But I just, I don't know. I didn't put out a lot of money for the earbuds. $15. Give me another watch because I don't like this watch. I can't read. See, you can't read it either unless you get the light on it just right, and then you can see it. I hate this watch, so I bought another watch. Just a cheapie, the one that I had before, but I could read it. I want to get a watch with got a link for the thingy for the let me see. I'll put it in there. Let me see. I love it. Okay, so here we'll put the link in here for the keypad for the keyboard. What a great little keyboard. There it is. There's the keyboard. For $30, you get a mouse, which works just like any other mouse on Android anyway. I heard that it doesn't work on iPads, but it is a really nice little keyboard, man. It's nice for $30. So you're welcome, buddy. I will be looking for volunteers to help us with the fishing event, the fishing clinic at Lake of the Woods in February. It'll be the weekend after the weekend after Valentine's Day. We're shooting for 250 people to be in the event, and that's just logistically a nightmare for just a few of us. We just can't do it. So I'm going to, as we get closer, I'm going to post for volunteers locally in the Ice Fishing Oregon group, and hopefully we can get some people that can help us with the ice fishing clinic. And maybe, feed you guys or do whatever, something, a little something, yeah, I know you will. I mean, it's just, I think all of us, I mean, you will absolutely love it. We got, I've got my fish finders, and we got a portable one at the resort. I've got mine, and you drop it down and you show people where the fish are, get a fish on their line, and go to the next one, and it is just so cool. We're also hopefully be advertising it. I'm a marketer. I owned an international marketing company back many years ago. And so marketing is my thing. And so we're hopefully get on the television, some TV, some radio, some print, internet, multimedia advertising and stuff like that. And you'll take free baits, no problem. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll make some free baits. I got these. These are so little. These aren't even. I got these, and they glow. See, they glow. But they're not worth making, because we sell the ones like this at the shop for my cost, and it's just too much work. So, but these are tiny little things, perfect for ice fishing. And so, we get some terrible at fishing ice jigs, whatever. But we'll figure something out. I mean, I do love to support the resort, and like I said, I'm working on this book right now. It's a visitor's guide, and that's why I had to take some more pictures at the resort while I was there Monday. And I finished the chapter on fishing. I finished the chapter on the trails. I only featured 3 simple trails at the resort, and now I'm going to be working on the amenities, what the resort has to offer. I'm going to continue working on the history of it, but just with fun stories. Things like the airport. You guys probably didn't know this. Oh, let me see. But the Great Meadow, which is this is an interesting story. The Flying Dutchman, and the crash killed everybody in the lake. In the plane. Kind of weird because they pulled up one of the bodies, and it was wrapped in. There's a bunch of politicians, and it was wrapped in barbed wire. It was really weird. But there was an aviation field in the Great Meadow at one time. And it's quite interesting, Lake of the Woods Airport. So there's a picture of Lake of the Woods Airport. And and then of course people, pictures of people bringing their planes to their cabins, skiing behind their planes. I know. Wild, huh? And there's a plane that flipped upside down on the lake on the ice. Oops. That's a bummer. Mr. Hicks. And anyway, it's there's a really good picture of the airfield right by the road, right there. I don't know if you can't really see it, but anyway, I thought it'd be fun to throw a chapter on the airfield. And because most people don't even know it, that the Great Meadow that you drive by was utilized as an airfield, a woodsy airfield, one of the few wood, in those sticks airfields in the western United States. So there's all sorts. I mean, Raymond Burr was a manager at the resort, if you guys remember Old Ironsides. But things like that. This right here, cabin cruising, this right here is the history of every cabin and the ownership of every cabin on the lake, which is quite interesting by, some standards. And you could tell that it just goes from family. It's a multi-generational thing, but there's some fun pictures in here. Some of these cabins when they didn't have anything. I've actually been in several of these P4 cabin. I've been in really nice people. They have a wall that everybody who's visited signs their name on the wall. So they have a wall of just they could touch their grandparents, great grandparents' signatures and things like that. And I just love that about some of these cabins. I won't, in the book, I won't say which cabin is which because, you want to protect their privacy. But at the same time, there's some fun stories about some of these cabins. It's just how they were built and stuff. Some of them were managers of a logging company and, they just were able to get some stuff. It's just really cool. Very cool book. Binder. It's not really a book, but it is a history of every cabin that is on the lakes. 218 cabins on that lake. And the oldest one, 1916. That still exists. So it's just a neat book to write. I am writing it from a first person point of view. My discovery, my impression. Hopefully, the reader will connect with it. But I've taken a lot of pictures, and every picture in there, except for some of the ones from the Historical Society, all the current pictures will be ones from me. And it will have pictures of me holding up fish. It will have pictures of some of the staff that is at Lake of the Woods. So it'll be neat. It'll be a book that you can buy at Lake of the Woods. You can buy it on Amazon. When I get around to finishing it, editing it, and publishing it, which will probably be the spring. But I took a lot of winter pictures lately. I do have a lot of summer pictures and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. I tell you guys, it'll be neat. You guys will enjoy it. If you want to read it. I'm a brave man. I'm not a brave man. I posted a picture of me on my boat, and somebody says, "You're a brave man." Not a brave man. It's a great boat, which it's under snow right now. I gotta, making room in the garage, pulling stuff out, doing stuff like this. And then hopefully tomorrow I can dump that snow off of it, clean it up, and that it's not going to snow today and tomorrow. It's going to pick up again this weekend. We just need, it's a good sign that winter is off to this kind of start for us. In the Western United States, we need water, and we need a watershed. So snow is important in order to store water for next year. This Klamath Falls is at 4,000 feet, where I live right here. And then the lake is at 5,000, so 4,900. So I also got a book on, I bought this book, actually. This is the history of Klamath Basin. I got this over at the museum, actually. So, whenever you write something, fiction or nonfiction, you got to do a lot of studying. So when you actually write about it, one, it's accurate. Two, it comes out in your own words. So you're not plagiarizing, cut and pasting and stuff like that. So as I read all these things, I have to, the Orion book is the next Phoenix book is having a hard time coming out of my brain. You guys, it's hard for me to explain what's wrong with me. Whenever I speak about it, I have a hard time with it. But I will tell you that my brain is not normal anymore. It is when I wrote the two books, Phoenix and Orion Risings. I hadn't suffered my brain trauma yet. Writing fiction is harder because it is a world that you have to imagine, dive into, and just work through. And that takes a lot of creativity, and I have it. But these two books, I wrote both these books before my brain damage. It's hard to think linearly, on a linear plane. Even though I have, fortunately, before my brain injury, I wrote down the storyboard. So up there, I've got the storyboard, and that helps. But the details, coming up with the characters, the species, the planets, the interactions, it's harder. Now, writing a nonfiction, a true book like this, easier, because you're basically, telling history or an experience while I'm there, in your own words. So I don't have to really think about a planet storyline, how it's going to, how this interaction is going to play 10 chapters later, or 8 chapters, or 5 chapters later. How do I make something in, chapter 3 important to the storyline? That's it's everything in a book, in a fiction book, has to play into an overall storyline, and that's hard for my brain to keep in order. I don't know if there will ever be The Ring. I don't know if that book will ever come about. I don't know. Here's Bello. Hey, baby. But if it does, it will be a true journey for me, because it's very hard for me to Um, um, it's hard for me to remember things in my own life, let alone for me to piece together a puzzle. Because a book, these are both big puzzles. These are both big puzzles. So, Phoenix Rising, you got a broken Earth. How's he going to fix it? And then, how's he going to battle the bad guy that is, Paul Orion? And then this one, Paul Orion wants vengeance for what happened in the first book. So these two books right here, pretty good, because it is really the Orion saga, because it's Paul Orion becomes a bad guy here and the end of Paul Orion here. And the third book, there are three bad guys, which are his financiers in the Phoenix Rising. And it is a very complicated story, harder than these two, because these are fairly linear. Well, I got three timelines on and three crews in the third book. It is a true climax, of what will happen. I'm sure people will help. Like, well, I don't know how people can help. These are my stories. These are my imaginations. This is my brain is breaking more. My health is deteriorating. I know that. I mean, it's hard for me to tell that to other people, but it is. And thinking is harder. Staying in the moment is tougher. Confusion is more often. And, every year something wants to claim my life. And it just is. So it's just one of those things that, you guys are with me for my journey. Now there is a neat book. Now I wrote this book really for my family, because I wrote this a long time ago, and but it's that's me with my surfboard. I want you to know it's a custom made surfboard. Got my name under the glass, and this is me on a horseback in the Rocky Mountains, and this is an autobiography. Now, there's a picture of me when I was just a little boy. It's an autobiography up to the point of when I met and married my wife. So when anything happens to me, if anything permanent happens to me, my kids can know what their dad was like. So, but yeah, they gave me like the biggest horse. It's like a tank. That thing was a tank. Oh my gosh. I wasn't that big of a guy back then. they gave it to me. This was the first cover of Phoenix Rising. That was the first cover. This was sort of a test copy, and had a lot of editors' notes, things like that in it. So it was sort of a test copy. And then I do have Phoenix Rising, or no, Orion Rising, right here in hardbound. It's hardbound, hard. Nice, very nice. I don't have any of the Phoenix Risings in hardback. And this is another book. This is another book that I wrote. This is actually nonfiction, and it's my first book I wrote, professionally edited and printed, and it's a business guide. So, and I have another book, although I do not have it next to me. It is an illustrated book. It's sort of a comic book. Project Hail Mary yet? No, I've never heard of it. It sounds like a football book. But it's I'm getting along. I'm getting along, guys. I mean, let me sharpen this knife. I'll tell you, there's one cool thing about that Leatherman. They give you a really good knife sharpener. And I'm doing okay, I guess. Going about life. Make my kids smile and laugh. Really? The Project Hail Mary. Let's pull it up. Books. Hail Mary. Huh. I love science fiction. Is it a science fiction book? Oh, I love science fiction books. A New York Times bestseller, huh? The Martian. You know what? I started reading The Martian. I last like 4 paragraphs, and he cussed a lot, and I stopped reading it. So does he cuss a lot in this book? I don't like cussing. I don't cuss. Does he cuss a lot? Oh, because in The Martian, he started the book with F this, F that, and I couldn't. I didn't even go on in the book. I didn't even see the movie. My kids said, the movie was PG-13, so sure only had one F word. But yeah, that's a good one. See, this diamond sharpener, which works really good for hooks. This thing's really sharp now, but it comes with this Leatherman, the Signal. It was a great book. Not from memory. I also like her. Well, I'll have to try it out. I mean, that's the problem about books. I mean, maybe the library's got it. I think you just go over to the library and check it out. That's probably what I'll do, because I don't want to spend $12 on it and get 3 paragraphs into it and stop reading it. So, Andy Weir. Yeah, these guys are smarter than I am. They have literary agents. In order to be published professionally, you gotta have a literary agent. And literary agents don't mess with no-namers. People like me. They don't mess with people like me. They've got the first chapter online, so I'll give it a look. And maybe go to the library and check it out. Because the author I do recognize, obviously, since I started reading The Martian. But I love sci-fi. One of my actually, if you know who Ray Bradbury was, Martian Chronicles has always been one of my favorite books. The Martian Chronicles, I mean, really, it does transcend generations. I mean, it's a great, great story. But yeah, I just love that stuff. And the Martian Chronicles was, I had a chance to see Ray Bradbury in Fresno. He was at the university giving a dissertation, and I didn't go see him. I wish I did. It's one of my regrets. But he was, he was I would put Ray Bradbury, on that Carl Sagan type of realm. It's just, he was just a genius when it came to science fiction. So, um, but yeah, if you've never read Martian Chronicles, I mean, I mean, for one thing, I can't believe nobody's ever read the Martian Chronicles. The Martian Chronicles is a famous book. This book is just, yeah, it's been out forever. I mean, I don't know when it was published. The let me see, Fahrenheit 451 was another one of his great books, by the way. So I mean, it's just I mean, Ray Bradbury, genius, just a genius writer. Yeah, that's a copyright. So I mean, this thing goes back 1945. 1945. All right, Martian Chronicles. So yeah, you have to check that one out too. I'll check out Weir, but the I mean, you cannot go wrong with this book. I mean, there's 3,505 ratings, reviews on Amazon for it, which I'm shocked there's only that many, because it's been out forever. It's probably just on this particular publishing, but 4.5 stars. I mean, it's just too darn good. And I wish, I wish I went to the university and saw Ray. I had a chance to see him. He died in 2012, and it's just one of those times you kind of wish you did. Yeah, this is a great book. You just have to read it. Yeah, one was sadly dated by recent advances. Well, you know what? Science fiction. One thing, when I write a science fiction, when I wrote these, or any of these fictions, um, for instance, Phoenix Rising, that when I created the ship, I had to make a protonic engine. So what is a protonic engine? What technology is that based on? Protons, right? And antiprotons, which actually do exist, and or what Star Trek would call antimatter. So um, antimatter and matter, protons and antiprotons, same stuff. But the technology of antiprotons is developed to some degree today, or antimatter, and it allows for an incredible amount of energy from a very small area, a very small amount. And so the ship is designed to use antiprotons. Um, Also, where do you get antiprotons? So I had to do a lot of research on where do antiprotons come from. And I had to create a well in order to, on another planet in order to harvest this and things like that. So all these things, and then warp drive, which drove me nuts on Star Trek. Um, and at least in Star Wars, they call it light speed, which light speed is not warp. All right. I mean, it's just not. Warp drive is where you take space and you fold it and you punch through it. That's not light speed. All right. Light speed, if you travel light speed, it would take you forever, to get from one galaxy to the next. It just would. there's 100,000 light years away. So, I mean, light speed is a slow travel through space, but warp, that's totally different, or using wormholes. But warp collapses it and folds it. Now, the neat thing is in my books, I describe the warp technology and how the warp field is generated and then what it looks like externally. All those things I had to go into theory, but base my story on that theory. And it's just a lot of fun because, I mean, everything in here, the rare earth elements, that the earth is running out of. I had to look up rare earth elements and how they played into the technology. What would happen if indeed certain elements ran dry? What would happen to the earth? What would happen to civilization? So those things I had to look at and then find, the chemical makeups and find them on another planet. So it's all this stuff, from bounty hunters to greedy industrialists to this or that. But it's you got to use a lot of brain power when you write a science fiction book. And that's my problem right now too, is the brain power to write a science fiction book. It's in here, but that's what's so frustrating is that it's in here. All right, I know it. Getting it out, that's the frustrating part. When I wrote these, Phoenix Rising, I don't know if you get the main storyline, the main book, I wrote in 3 days, this book. Now, mind you, there's a lot of editing, a lot of add-ons, this and that, but the initial book was written in 3 days. So, wow, that's great, Craig. Yeah, I gotta get up my game too. But I just, it's amazing that when my brain was working better, I could type and just the storyline just comes out. And then, working on my storyboard, and then, like in this one right here, after I was done writing it, I was thinking there's something missing. And so I had, thanks, Craig. There was something missing. So I think it was this book. No, it was in Orion Rising. I think it's in Orion Rising. I created another planet. Now, if you've ever watched Star Trek, and I love Star Trek, there's Harry Mudd. He's kind of a self-centered person, likes pretty women. So he made a robot of pretty women, all look the same, but they're all gorgeous. And so I made sort of a Harry Mudd planet, a Shia. And I wanted more comedy because in the first book, I have a lot of my sarcasm. Well, in the second book, I sort of lost some of my sarcasm. And so I needed a planet to have fun on. So I made a planet of just pure Amazon women with one dude, the architect. And we saved a couple of the Cheyennes out of a military installation on a crustacean planet, and we had to deliver them to their home world. The neat thing is I was able to tie it into the overall storyline. So I didn't just add this planet because from this planet we get a medical doctor, and she's gorgeous, of course, and of course my son falls in love with her, and So she is Alayla. She is in the overall storyline, and she's crucial for saving lives on the Phoenix and beyond. So it also added a romantic element to the book, but also comedy because my son's very shy, and so there's a lot of comedy in it. I think it's in the first book, Phoenix. Yeah, it's in Phoenix because where's that right? I lost her. See, but it's funny because what happens on the planet. I have so much fun. I had so much fun writing it. It was such a fun adventure. And of course, the guys had to stay on the ship because it's a matriarchal society. So only, my two daughters and my wife had to go on the away mission on the planet. And of course, the architect, he thinks of himself a little bit too much and he starts flirting with my girls. Don't be doing that. Um, it's quite a jaunt, actually. Shia is. And that was one of those things that even after the story was written, I wanted to add something else to it. And when Orion Rising too, I had to learn spelunking because there is a chapter there where they have to go underground through caverns and cave diving. Um, Something that I had never done, of course, never will do. I'm too big to fit through those little crevices anyway. But I had to learn spelunking and the technology of spelunking and cave diving. And so I had to learn a bunch of that in order to make a realistic chapter on finding the bad guy's lair in Orion Rising. Also, I had to find an island in the South Pacific, and I found a real island lore about it that scares people. So I needed a real island with a scary lore, and I did. I found an island, and I took that lore that really does exist on this real island that in order to scare the indigenous people away from the bad guys' entrances in that part of the island. And I weaved that in to that chapter. So, oh, thanks, Greg. Thank you. Um, but that's another thing about Orion Rising. I had to, so all those things. I mean, it's just like if I write something in a planet, uh, uh, Grace, the Glacian, she's from a real planet that does exist that has uh, molten glass storms, and so the surface of the planet is just unlivable. But my in-laws lived in a place on the Puget Sound called Squim, and it was called the Blue Hole because all the rain sort of missed Squim. And so what I did is I took that phenomenon and I put it on this real planet that was discovered, and it's got a blue hole. But in the blue hole, there's a cave, a mouth to the interior of the planet. And so even though the whole planet is molten glass that rains and stuff, there's this blue hole that a ship can go in and access the interior of the planet where there's a civilization. And so in my mind, I had to create all of this stuff. So when I make planets, they're all based on real planets. So I have to go on NASA and other sites in order to come up with, take the element of truth of a planet and create something about it. All right. See you, Craig. Thanks for stopping in. So that's what ends up happening. with all of this. I wanted the Phoenix. I actually, this model, that model is one I made. I made that model in 3D, which I do when I first got sick. I taught myself CG. Thanks, Richard. And so all these, I mean, the cover, the little ships right here, these are all mine. So I needed to create all this stuff. So even in the graphics department, I taught myself CG, and that's why I use. I mean, the featured video right now on the channel too is interesting because it's it's just a quick trailer that I just recently did with animation and a ship I built. Um, so it's kind of fun, to look at that. The oh, it's just a lot of work. You can see that it requires a lot of brain power. It just does. And a lot of research. So even before I write a chapter, if it's a planet on a new planet and new species, I mean, I have to research planets, find a planet, then take the chemical makeup of that planet and create a civilization. Can that civilization live on the planet or in the planet? Or what type of species would I create in order to live in that atmosphere? Would it be on the planet or above the planet or in the planet? I mean, it's all sorts of things that my mind would come up with. And the crustacean planet. I mean, that was just cool. Big spiders, stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of fun. I love creating aliens. I mean, aliens are fun to create because, I mean, we have no reference material, so basically, I can do whatever I want. I do. I mean, they're in Phoenix Rising. There's a cat. They storm a castle on one of the planets. It's so much fun. Jay and Kat and Rebecca have this kill off. Who can kill off the most bad guys in it, and Rebecca is sort of my Laura Croft character. She's deadly. Just so much fun. You got to read it. I sent a copy of this over to Leo. So hopefully Leo is enjoying it, or even Rich. I don't know. Greg, you did too. You got a copy too. But I just, but those are all things that go through my head, and I have to research. Same thing with this book. This is not really even a book. It is a visitor's guide. So a visitor's guide is going to be, it'll be a big one. Most of my books are 6x9, but this will be a bigger book, and it'll be sort of folded. It's not going to have leaves in it like these do. I don't know how many pages it's going to be. It'll have a lot of pictures, and the pictures extend the page count. But and it'll be color pictures, so it won't be a cheap book or visitor's guide. Because I really think the color pictures will add to it. We'll see. We'll see. See what I can get away with. Hey, babe. It's Bella. Not Bella. It's got an Italian name. Bello means handsome in Italian. He's my Maine Coon cat. Big cat. But anyway, that's that. Even my autobiography is written in a flashback mode. It starts with me going surfing, and then triggers while I'm surfing, which I used to surf. Obviously, I used to surf, and triggers memories, and all that is, going from fiction to nonfiction, fact back to fiction, things like that is just constant. And it's a fun story. You laugh and laugh and laugh. Because I almost 99% of all the stories are just funny in this book. Oh, except for the first story. The first story is the only one. Here's a picture of my mama. She was a bartender. That was her in a bar called The Scoreboard. And she died 22 years ago. And my kids never met her. In fact, I technically did, but she was only 6 months old. She don't know. But I'm a lot like my mom. And she and I were a lot alike. Same sense, very similar sense of humors. Enjoyed people, had fun. So she was the best. You always knew when Phyllis was running the bar. You could hear her laugh from outside in the parking lot. So funny. But yeah, it's just cool stuff, I guess. I was raised up in bars. I was a bar kid. Me and my little brother. You walk into my store, at the marina. I swear you're going to feel like you walked into a bar. No, I'm not drunk. I don't drink, but I could. You will get a hard time, and you will give it back to me. You will laugh, and I will laugh, and you will just leave thinking that is the strangest marina I've ever walked into. You really will, because it's fun. That's one of the things I put in the book too. The visitor's guide is that if you really want a pleasant experience, go to the marina, because we have a good sense of humor down there, and especially on Friday and Saturday when I work, we just have fun with our customers. So it's just cool. I do have. Oh, where is it? This right here is going to replace one of those rods and reels up there, the Cast King Crixus. This is going to replace it. It is a much better reel. Really cool looking reel. It's got a chameleon finish to it, but it's a great reel. I've used this one already. Not this one, but the one just like it up there. Got a second one. And I think it's only like $30, $25-$30 right now. It's called the Spark Pro on PC Fun. If you want a really nice bait casting reel, this one can cast really light. It's got a fairly shallow spool too. But let me show you something about this. It's the magnet. That's the braking system on it. It's got 8 magnets, but what's so neat about it, it's got 4 on one side, 4 on the other. They're not all in a line, so it has an even braking force on the spool itself, and it does an incredible job at braking. And it's got a very simple, adjustment on the side. I like it. It's an 8 to 1 ratio. Fantastic. And you gotta click on the tensioner, and the I think it clicks too when the drag is taken out. Loosen the drag. No, it doesn't click. So, all right. No big deal. Most don't. Drag clicker. But great reel. Really good. See you, Craig. Thanks for stopping by. But I love this. replace that casking. The casking drives me nuts. Crixus Armor X, one of their best, not. It worked really good for the first, 8 months. And then it has a hard time uh, putting the line on evenly on the spool. And what ends up happening is that it catches on itself, and backlashes, short casts, things like that. It's just terrible. I mean, you could have so much fun casting it till finally, bam! It's just a mess. Terrible. That's the thing with casking. Casking can make some really nice stuff. Some of their spinning reels really nice. Some of their rods really nice. I mean, I love their Resolute line, but I broke one of those rods. I've never broken a rod. And but it's a really nice rod. Really nice rod. But their bait casting reels, nah. Even their BFS reels. The Kestrel one is a rip off of the Shimano, and it's overbraked. So you look at reviews, people complain always that it's overbraked, and you can't have an overbraked BFS. Their Zephyr, nice reel for the money. It's $80 for a BFS, but it has a design flaw that catches the really small line on the outside of the spool, and it'll drive you nuts. Since you don't put a whole lot of line on it, you could cut off half the line on a bad backlash. So, and don't ever buy Cast King fishing line. There's one thing that company cannot make is a good fishing line. I've bought all of them, and they're terrible. Every one of them. It's one of the things that they didn't like about me. And because I can't tell you guys to buy something that sucks. And so far, and to be honest, I'm not looking for a sponsor of any manufacturer. A distributor, perhaps, Discount Tackle, call me. But I right now I like PC Fun. They make fantastic tackle bag, really good tackle bag. But I'm not, in a year this might suck. I don't know. But I do love one thing, is that they give money back for children's education on fishing. I love that about them. Cast King does not. I tried to get Cast King to support local events, and they wouldn't do it. And I guess it's just too greedy. They didn't see the return on investment that they could get. Even though I would go ahead and make a very fluid sales pitch, they would get a full report on ROI. And again, I'm a marketer, so I know what to spend in marketing in order to get the best bang for my buck. I also know that a little bit of this goes a long way if indeed it's in the right space. It was really a shame, but Pissy Fun, they do a lot of stuff like that. In fact, when you buy, you can give them a tip, and that whole tip goes towards education of fishing and getting kids involved and stuff. So really cool. And I usually do. So, but I would, Cajun rods. I could do Cajun. I've purchased 5 Cajun rods this year. 5. All right. Thanks, Richard. I'm going to wrap it up. But I want to thank everybody for stopping in, hit like, and I will continue writing, and I will I think I'll go over to the library and check out that weird book. And I don't know. It's lunchtime. It's past lunchtime, probably. Is it past lunchtime? Oh no, it's almost lunchtime. It's almost noon. It's an hour. It's so funny. I have a cat, not Bello, my black and white. She sleeps with me, always right next to me, and she's got this routine. It's lunch for yeah, me too. And Evie's got this routine, so she knows what time I go to bed, and so when it's 11:40 here, and so she waits for me at the top of the stairs or on the landing, and she's meowing, saying, "Come to bed." Well, she's not used to this daylight savings, so she's doing it too early. And so I'm telling her, says, "Look, you got to wait an hour and a half or so." So it's going to take a while for her to get used to this time shift. But right now, she's like yelling at me every night to come to bed. It's my cat. Saved her. She was a feral cat. Took me 6 months to tame her. She was quite the ferocious cat when I got her, and she's bonded to me, so she's mine. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. And I know I just put some rods up and then tackle and stuff like that, and probably head out to the garage and do some more work out there and get some more stuff put up. So you guys take care, and we'll see you guys later.